students, I, Rajeshwari Shirkanhalli, welcome you in Nagesh Karasgi Orchid School channel. So students, today we are going to start a new chapter, that is chapter number 7, Conservation of Plants and Animals. So let us begin with the chapter. The important sections of the chapter which we are going to discuss in this chapter are, first of all, the introduction, then what is deforestation and what are its causes, then consequences of deforestation. The next point is conservation of forest and wildlife. Then we are going to see biosphere reserve. Then we are going to discuss about flora and fauna. The next section is about endemic species. Then we are going to see what is wildlife sanctuary, national park, and after that the next section is red data book. Then we will see what is meant by migration, then recycling of paper, and at last reforestation. So these are the important sections, important concepts of the chapter. So let us start with the introductory part. Let us see what is meant by conservation. The name of the chapter is Conservation of Plants and Animals. Before that, before studying the concepts, you should know what is meant by conservation. So conservation is a term used to describe the careful and sensible use of natural resources. Means we have to use the natural resources carefully so that these natural resources should be available for the future generation. Otherwise, if we will use carelessly, then some of the natural resources, as they are limited, they will get over very soon. So here a few examples are given. The earth's natural resources include air, water, soil, minerals, fuels, plants and animals. So air is unlimited, but other natural resources, if we use carelessly, then there is a fear that they will get over very soon. So we have to use these natural resources very carefully and sensibly so that these resources can be conserved. So after knowing about the conservation, let us start with the first concept of our chapter, that is deforestation and its causes. First, let us see what is meant by deforestation. Clearing of forests and using that land for other purposes is called deforestation. Now, as you know that nowadays the population is increasing, and as the population is increasing, the demand for housing, the demand for getting good grains, then building of industries, factories, all these are increasing. So what the people are doing, they are clearing the forest areas and they are utilizing those forest areas for other purposes, that is for building houses, then for agriculture, then for building factories and so on. So due to this, deforestation is taking place. So today, due to deforestation, there is a threat to the survival of plants and animals in the forest. Okay, so forest is a home for different plants and animals, those who reside there. And if forest is not there, then plants and animals will lose their home, they will lose their shelter. So there is a threat to the survival of these plants and animals in the forest because of deforestation. So what is deforestation? Clearing of forest areas and using that land for other purposes, that is called as deforestation. So you can see here in this picture a very clear cut view of deforestation is shown. Here you can see all the trees are cut. So, this is a very serious issue, isn't it? Now, let us see what are the causes of deforestation. Deforestation occurs in two ways, due to human activities as well as there are some natural causes also. So, human activities like procuring land for cultivation, as I have just told that deforestation is done and that land is brought under cultivation, means it is used for agriculture. The second activity is building houses and factories, then making furniture. So, you know, timber furniture is very famous, means trees are cut and that wood is used for making furniture. Similarly, wood is also used as fuel. So, because of these human activities, deforestation is causing. The natural causes are forest fires, then severe droughts, means very scanty rainfall, and forest fires is a natural cause, natural disaster. So, due to these, deforestation is taking place. Okay. Now, there is an activity for you all. What you are going to do is add more causes of deforestation to your list. Just now we have seen 3 causes because of human activities and 2 causes because of nature. But what you are going to do is you have to add more causes of deforestation to your list and classify them into natural and man-made. Natural causes and man-made means which occurs due to human activities. Now, after seeing the deforestation and its causes, let us discuss about consequences of deforestation. So, the following are some of the consequences, means if the deforestation occurs, then the result will be in global warming, means if there is deforestation, as you know that forest areas means trees in the forest areas, they hold the water, and because of the forest areas the temperature is also maintained, it is controlled. But if there is deforestation, then the temperature of the earth will increase, that will lead to global warming. Then second one is disturbance in water cycle, means disturbance in rainfall patterns. Third one is soil erosion and desertification, formation of deserts. Then floods, at last shortage of wood and other forest products. So, let us see all these consequences one by one in detail. The first one is global warming. Plants use carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. You already have learnt about photosynthesis in your lower classes. What is photosynthesis? It is preparation of food. You know that plants are autotrophs, they prepare their own food. For that, they use carbon dioxide from the air for synthesizing their food. So, that is called as photosynthesis. When fewer trees will be left due to deforestation, less carbon dioxide will be used up. So, as carbon dioxide is utilized by the plants for photosynthesis, if there are very less trees, then the using of carbon dioxide will also get reduced. So, less carbon dioxide will be used up. So, what will happen if less carbon dioxide will be used up? More and more amount of carbon dioxide will remain in the atmosphere. So, this will result in its increased amount in the atmosphere. So, this will result in the increased amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. A possible consequence is global warming as carbon dioxide traps the heat rays reflected by the surface of the earth. You all know that carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. What is the function of a greenhouse gas? A greenhouse gas traps the heat of the sun and keeps the earth warmer. But if suppose the amount of carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas, goes on increasing, then its function of trapping the heat rays will also go on increasing. Then what is the result? The heat rays get reflected back by the surface of the earth, will get trapped by carbon dioxide. And if more heat is trapped by carbon dioxide, then more heat retains on the earth. That will result in the increase in temperature. So, that leads to global warming. The second consequence is disturbance in water cycle. The consequent increase in temperature on the earth disturbs the water cycle. You know well about water cycle. The water from different water reservoirs get heated by the heat of sun and they get converted into water vapor, then finally they form clouds and then fall down in the form of rain. So, this water cycle gets disturbed because of increased temperature. So, this leads to decrease in the rainfall that lowers the groundwater level and could cause droughts. Droughts means shortage of water. So, if there is a decrease in rainfall, then there is a decrease in the groundwater level and the result will be droughts. So, you can see here the land, it has some cracks because of no water. So, this is the condition seen in the drought areas. Next consequence is soil erosion and desertification. So, let us see first what is soil erosion. Roots of the trees bind the particles of topsoil. So, roots of the trees do very important function. They bind the particles of topsoil, preventing them from being carried away by wind and water. You know that topsoil is the fertile soil, it is very good for the growth of plants, and the particles of this topsoil is bound by the roots of trees. Then what the roots of trees do? They bind the particles of topsoil and prevent them from being carried away by wind and water. When the forest trees are cut, there are no roots. So, when the forest trees are cut means there are no trees, no roots, and the bare topsoil means the soil, top layer of the soil without trees becomes loose quickly. Why? Because there are no roots to bind the particles of topsoil. So, they become this topsoil becomes loose quickly and erodes rapidly. Means during wind and water, that is during rainfall, the top layer of the soil just get blown away by wind and get washed away by water. So, this results in more soil erosion, exposing the lower layer that has less humus and is less fertile. So, you have learnt about the layers of soil already in last class in 7th standard. You know that the top layer of the soil is rich in humus and it is very good for the growth of plants. But because of soil erosion, the top layer of the soil just gets blown or washed away, then the lower layer which has less humus and less fertile gets exposed. So, soil erosion is one of the consequences of deforestation. The other properties like nutrient content, texture etc. of soil also changes. So, because of deforestation and because of soil erosion, what happens? The nutrients available in the soil get reduced. The texture of the soil also changes. So, over time, continuous soil erosion can thus convert the land into a desert. So, if this soil erosion takes place continuously, then the land gets converted into a desert, which is called as desertification. So, you can see here in this picture, the land is almost turned into a desert. So, this is desertification. Next consequence is floods. The roots of forest trees help in absorbing the rainwater and make it percolate into the ground. So, the roots of forest trees are useful for absorbing the rainwater. These roots help in absorbing the rainwater and make it percolate into the ground. Means rainwater gets absorbed by the soil because of the presence of roots of forest trees. Now, due to deforestation, there is a decrease in the water holding capacity of the soil. So, deforestation means cutting off forest areas, no trees, no soil, no roots and no water holding capacity of the soil. So, due to deforestation, there is decrease in the water holding capacity of the soil. The movement of water from the soil surface into the ground is reduced. Means water does not get percolated by the soil. So, its movement from the soil surface into the ground is reduced. This results in floods as excess water flows from the banks of the rivers into the adjoining areas. So, whenever the excess of water flows from the banks of the river, the trees present over there, they percolate that water and water gets absorbed by the soil. But due to deforestation, as there are no trees, then excess of water flows from the banks of the rivers into the adjoining areas and this results in floods. So, this is one of the consequences. You can see here in this picture, there are very less trees shown. So, water is just collected everywhere because of less water holding capacity of the soil. So, these were the consequences of deforestation. Now, let us see the last consequence, that is shortage of food and other forest products. Deforestation will lead to shortage of wood used for various purposes. There will be lack of other forest products like honey, gum, etc. So, honey, gum are the forest products. These are obtained from forest areas, but due to the deforestation, there will be lack of these forest products. Honey, gum, oil, resin, latex, etc. So, there will be lack of these forest products if we continue to cut down forest trees. So, there is a need to conserve forest and wildlife. So, let us begin with the next concept, that is conservation of forests and wildlife. The efforts to protect and preserve forests and wildlife are done in the following ways. The first one is protection by law, means strict laws should be made and should be followed by everyone. Then forests can get conserved. Second one is afforestation. We have just now seen about deforestation, that is cutting of the trees. Afforestation means planting of the trees. So, if there is a deforestation, then the treatment, the remedy is afforestation. The third one is protection from forest fires. So, due to forest fires, the whole forest area is set into fire. So, this forest should be protected from such forest fires. Next is personal and society efforts. So, efforts should be taken at an individual level as well as by the society. The next and the last one is habitat preservation. So, let us discuss all these one by one. First is protection by law. It is very necessary to have strict laws and their enforcement for the protection and preservation of wildlife. So, actually there are many laws are there, but these laws should be followed by each and every citizen, and if it is not happening, then strict actions should be taken against them. So, it is very necessary to have strict laws and their enforcement is very necessary. So, and their enforcement for the protection and preservation of wildlife. Now, for example, hunting regulation, then rules for unauthorized felling of trees, etc. So, these are some examples. Their hunting should be banned, then nobody should be allowed to go and cut the trees. So, unauthorized felling of trees, hunting regulation, these are some of the laws. So, by doing such laws, deforestation can be prevented and forest can be conserved. Then if forest gets conserved, the wildlife will also get conserved. So, this is the first way to preserve the forest areas and the wildlife. The second is afforestation. What is afforestation? It is the act of planting more trees to replace the ones that are cut. So, if the trees are cut, in the places of those trees, some new trees should be planted. So, the act of planting more trees to replace the ones that are cut is known as afforestation. It also takes place naturally. So, no need to go and plant the tree, it takes place naturally also, but if the area is left undisturbed. So, if the area is, that land is not utilized for anything, if it is just left undisturbed, then automatically new plants grow there with the course of time. So, afforestation is again one of very good method to conserve forest areas and wildlife. Next is protection from forest fires. So, forest fires is actually a natural cause. It is done by human activities also. Means if people go for picnic and all, or for campfire, and because of the carelessness of human, sometimes the result is forest fires. And whereas forest fires also take place by natural causes, means during very hot summer, grasses get rubbed to each other and they set into fire, and then very soon the fire spreads everywhere in the whole forest areas. So, protection from forest fires is very important. It can be done by spraying fire extinguishing solutions. Fire extinguishing solutions means the solutions which extinguish fire, which put off the fire. So, how the forest areas are protected from forest fires, some extinguishing solutions get sprayed on them. It is done by spraying fire extinguishing solutions from aircrafts. Okay, so with the help of aircraft, some fire extinguishing solutions are sprayed on the trees in the forest area, so that if there is any forest fire, it does not spread, automatically it gets extinguished because of spreading of these fire extinguishing solutions. It is also done by changing the direction of wind. So, by using strong blowers. So, using strong blowers, the direction of the wind is changed, and if the wind blows in some other direction, then the fire gets extinguished. You know, for the fire, three things are important. One is fuel, second one is temperature, and third one is presence of air. So, by changing the direction of the wind, the forest fire can be prevented. So, protection of the forest areas from forest fires is again a very good method for conservation of forest and wildlife. Next is personal and society efforts. There are some organizations which help in conservation of forests. How they do? Some organizations help in conservation of forests through their projects, programs and joint efforts with the government. So, some organizations undertake different projects, they conduct different programs and joint efforts with government, and they spread awareness among the people, so that each and everyone can take care and help in preventing the deforestation. They help in conservation of the forest and wildlife. Now, one such example is given, that is Van Mahotsava. Van Mahotsava program celebrated every year during the first week of July in India. So, every year in the first week of July in India, Van Mahotsav program is celebrated. Okay. So, next month, that is in July month, the first week will be the celebration of Van Mahotsava. When it is started? It is started in the year 1950. So, it is the duty of each and every person to take efforts for the conservation of forest and wildlife. Next one is habitat preservation. Let us see what is habitat preservation. In this method, protected areas such as wildlife sanctuaries, national parks, biosphere reserve, etc. are established. So, in the coming sections of the chapter, we are going to discuss about these wildlife sanctuaries, national parks and biosphere reserve. So, these are established so that wildlife as well as forest can get conserved. These areas are large enough to protect the diverse and whole set of ecosystems. You know what is an ecosystem? If you consider forest as an ecosystem, then what are the components of ecosystem over there? Plants, different animals, microorganisms, birds, insects and so on. All they are the components of ecosystem. So, that is called as forest ecosystem. Like that, there are different ecosystems are there. Forest ecosystem, pond ecosystem, then grasslands, etc. So, these areas are large enough. Which areas? Wildlife sanctuaries, national parks and biosphere reserves. They are large enough to protect the diverse and whole set of ecosystems. What is done there actually at these places? Plantation, then cultivation, means using the land for agriculture, then grazing by animals, cutting of trees, hunting and poaching, all these are prohibited in these protected areas. Means the trees as well as the wildlife is safe in wildlife sanctuaries, national parks and biosphere reserves. Do you know India has more than half of the world's wild tigers? Means in whole world, whatever the number of wild tigers are there, more than 50% of that number is there in our country, in India. So that's a very proud thing. Secondly, 65% of Asian elephants, means wherever the elephants are found in the continent of Asia, out of that 65% of Asian elephants are found in our country. 85% of the great one-horned rhinoceros. So 85% of the rhinos, one-horned rhinos, are there in our country, and 100%, yes, 100% of Asian lions are in our country. So it's very, very good, but it's our duty to see that this percentage should not get reduced, should not get decreased. One of the most important factors that threatens wildlife today is habitat destruction due to encroachment. So people are using that land for some or other purpose, and that's why the habitat of wildlife is getting threatened. Then what will be the result? The wild animals will start coming in city areas and they will start killing the animals. So it's our duty to conserve forest areas and wildlife. You may think that forest areas are so far from you as you are staying in cities, but directly or indirectly we are dependent on the forest, we are dependent on the forest products. So you are going to do that activity which I have suggested and go through all these concepts. Here we will stop today. We will continue the remaining sections in the coming classes. Thank you.